Hey, welcome to Truth Tuesday with Pastor Josh. Truth is the true and actual state of a matter. It is conformity with fact or reality. It is verified. It's the real deal. Let's look at what that means today on Truth Tuesday.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday podcast today. We started yesterday, just a different way of doing it. I have my son here. He's helping me do some Bible stories this week. I know recently when we did an interview together and we did the Jacob and Esau story, everyone really seemed to love his rendition of that and how he told the story. And so we thought we'd just do that this week, share some Bible stories, share some devotional thoughts to go along with that. And especially after Father's Day weekend, we just thought it would be a pretty good time to do that. And so here we are. We talked about Abraham and Isaac yesterday and trusting him to provide and how he provided our biggest need, which is salvation, and how the story kind of pictures that for us. And so today we are talking about what?
The Ten Commandments.
The Ten Commandments. Okay, so tell me about the Ten Commandments. How does the story come about? What is the story? Where's it go from here?
Moses and Aaron asked the second pharaoh after the first pharaoh died, and basically they asked him, I think 3 times.
Okay.
They did plagues after that. 10 plagues.
Yeah. So God sent plagues upon Egypt, right? 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What happened after that?
The second pharaoh's son died. So then he said, "Let your people go." So then they got trapped at the Red Sea, and then God separated the waters to the side. Then Moses led all the
Israelites
to the other side, and almost all the chariots and all the soldiers died, but except Pharaoh.
Okay, so then what happens? They go into the wilderness, they wander around a little bit, and so how do we get to the Ten Commandments?
So one night, Moses was gonna go out to a mountain, and while Moses was up on the mountain, the Israelites made a golden calf as their god. So they disobeyed.
Yeah, that's one of the Ten Commandments, isn't it? To have no other gods, to make no idols or have any other gods besides the Lord.
But I think they did that way before.
They did that while the Ten Commandments were being written, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they were doing what God told them not to do, as He was telling Moses, like they shouldn't do this. They're down there doing it, right?
It's not good.
It's not good.
Boy.
So what happened? I mean, what happened to the rest of the story?
Well, then Moses came down off the mountain and they threw the 10 Commandments.
He did. He threw them on the ground and then they busted all over the place, right? And those are the ones that God had written with His finger, right? And then they had to go back up, and Moses did what? Did he make more? Did he?
Yep.
What happened with the people and the golden calf? What happened with that?
The golden calf got destroyed, but then I forgot the rest.
And Moses asked the people, he said, "If you're for the Lord, come over to me. And if you're not, yeah. And there was lots of people who did that, right? But there was also some people who didn't do that. Do you think those rules were made just so people had to follow the rules, or do you think God made those rules because He wanted people to love Him?
He made them because He wanted them to love Him.
Yeah, many times we think that the rules in life are meant to take all the fun out of life, right? We think that having rules is awful and we should, we don't like them and we want to be able to have freedom. But what we don't realize is that those rules are meant to keep us safe, right? And to help us to love
God.
and have better relationships with people and with God, right?
And love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength.
Right?
Yep.
And to love our neighbor as ourselves.
Yep.
Did you know that what you just said, the greatest commandment, did you know that all the 10 commandments can be described by that statement?
What?
Did you know that the first 4 commandments have everything to do with loving the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength? So let me share that real quick and explain a little bit of what that looks like. So the 10 commandments, the first 4 are, I am the Lord your God. Do not have any other gods besides me. Okay, that's the first one. The second one is, do not make an idol for yourself. That's the second. Third one is, do not misuse the name of the Lord your God. And number 4 is, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Those first 4 have everything to do with loving God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength.
I never knew that.
I know. I mean, so a lot of people don't know that. Did you know that the second part of the 10 Commandments, number 5 through 10, is all described by the second part of that statement? To love your neighbor as yourself. Listen to what it says. Number 5, it says, honor your father and mother. Right? That's someone else. That's neighbors, right? Well, to love others. Do not murder. That has to do with neighbors. Do not commit adultery. That has to do with neighbors. Do not steal. That has to do with others, right? Do not take or do not desire what is not yours. That also has to do with it. It even says neighbor. It says, do not covet your neighbor's house. Do not covet your neighbor's wife, his male servant, his donkey, his ox, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Like, you shouldn't desire to have what your neighbor has. So that statement, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself, that's basically like the 10 Commandments.
Yep.
Like, it's helping us to love God and to love others. And so when we desire to love God and love others, it means that if we do that well, it means that we'll follow those 10 Commandments, right?
Yep.
So is it a good thing to follow those 10 Commandments?
Yep. It means you're obeying God. But like I said, if you don't obey, you're making a calf. Basically, you're basically making a golden calf.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways. Like, we don't necessarily make golden cows right now and put them in our yard anymore. But we do things where we kind of do the same thing. You know, where we make other things more important than God. It's like we make a cow, right? We make a golden cow. You know, or if we lie, or if we dishonor, like we don't listen to our mommy and daddy, right? We should listen to our mommy and daddy, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
I
just had these as an opportunity.
I'm not ready to obey you guys.
You're not ready to?
I don't really.
Oh yeah. Well, I sometimes that brings up a good example. What do we do when we mess up? What happens when we break one of those 10 Commandments? What happened to the Israelites when they realized that they had done wrong?
They asked for forgiveness.
That's right.
That's what I usually do too. And once after they put me in bed, I asked for forgiveness for how I acted.
Yeah.
One night.
Yeah, you came out and asked for forgiveness, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so good to do that because hopefully those rules should help us to recognize that we did something wrong. And when we recognize we did something wrong, we can help take the step to step back into relationship, right?
Yep.
To say, Lord, forgive me. You know, and ask the people around us to forgive us. It's a good thing. It should lead us to love God and love each other more. It helps us to know. It's kind of like the edges of the road, right? It helps keep us on the road. Those 10 Commandments are like that, right? They're kind of like the markers on the road that help make sure that we're going in the right direction, right?
Yep.
It helps us understand that. It's pretty cool.
Stay on the right side, not on the wrong side, or you're gonna wreck.
Yeah, we don't want to wreck. And that's a good word for us today on this Truth Tuesday. Don't wreck. Stay on the road. Those rules are meant to help us understand when we're loving God well, and when we're loving each other well, and when we're not. But when we fail, we have the ability, the option to come to the Lord, ask for forgiveness from those around us. It's a good lesson for us to learn, huh? It's a good thing. Well, thanks for joining us today. Is there anything you want to say then before we sign off for Truth Tuesday?
Yep. make sure you be safe in this kind of stuff, in this COVID-19 stuff. Make sure you stay safe.
Yeah, make sure you stay safe and love the people around you, right?
Yep, make sure you love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah, that's a good thing. All right, well, this has been Truth Tuesday with Pastor Josh and with Enum. Thanks for joining us today. We will see you tomorrow.